We're supposed to make vinyl cut files from Illustrator. Ah! How do we do that? Let me help you figure that out. What we're going to do is get into Illustrator and convert to outlines. We're going to get the file to the point where a vinyl cutter could read it. So let me share my screen. We will go back there and figure it out. I'm sharing my screen. We are in Illustrator. So here's my type. It says schmutz. I love that. So it's going to be beautiful. We're going to cut this out and put it on the wall. As you can see, I've set the text on a path. I've got a little bit of a path going there. It's still type. So that's why I wanted to start here so you know how to go about doing this. You'll also notice a few little things like that M doesn't want to sit happily on that surface, so it's kind of lumpy. It doesn't quite match up. So let's go fix some of that stuff. The first thing I'm going to do is get to my type and say I'm going to create outlines from the type. So type, create outlines. You'll notice if I have my cursor in this and it says I'm typing and I go to type, create outlines, it won't let me because it thinks I'm trying to retype. So get out of your text menu, grab your selection tool, click on your text, and then come back to your type and say create outlines. Doink. And now what you get to see is that's what type designers do. They make all those little points and paths. And then you can say, well, I want to move around a couple of these things, like that little M piece right there is bugging me. So now I can click on just the M and say, I want that point, and that point, and move that down a little bit and make it look a little more betterer. Right? So that's, we can fool around with stuff, individual stuff like that. But now what I want to do is, and even some, like something like I can say, well, what I really want to do is scale this letter and make it really fancy. I'm going to grab that, scale that up, make that a bit groovier like that, pull that in, and then say I want to put a tail on the end of that thing like that tail right there, and then go whoop. I'm going to just grab that tail, put that where I want it like that, and then maybe I have to scale that as well. So I'm going to grab that right there, grab that right there, and get that to kind of look pretty swinging. And then what I'm going to do is come back over here and say this end, I want that to end to match up right there. It's going to come off of this tail, and I want this end to match up to that part of the tail. So then what I'm going to do is take my scissors tool. Scissors lives under the eraser right here. Scissors tool. Snip, snip. I'm going to grab that S and snip off the ends of it. Snip, snip. Grab the piece that I just cut off. Didn't snip. Snip here then. Grab the piece that I just cut off. That. And right there. Oh, I see what happened. What happened is I accidentally snipped the piece that I was creating. So I don't want to do that. There's my S, and I can snip there, back a ways, and then maybe back here, something like that. And that should give me just that piece right like that. So now what I want to do, of course, is connect this up to this. Get my pen tool and do that. Say you belong to you, and you belong, whoops, and you belong to you. And then everybody's happy. So now what I've got is that. I got schmutz, woohoo, cool. So I want to cut this out of vinyl. If I go switch back into here, you'll notice I've got little lines here. Every line that you see on the screen, the vinyl cutter says, I'm supposed to cut that, which means that you'll have a C, and then you'll have an H, and you have this weird little cutout piece in the middle. We don't want that. So come back up here and grab your shape builder tool. It says it's a shape builder tool, and it shows you the little movie of how you use it. Grab that tool, come back over here and click on this and this and this, all the pieces. Basically what you want to do is grab every one of those letters. I'm holding down shift so that I can select more than one thing at once. And then it says, oh, you want to use the shape builder. Doink, doink, doink. Go ahead and grab those guys, put those together. Go ahead and grab those guys and put them together. And you'll notice what it's doing. It's wiping out all the spaces in between. Now if I click on this, that's one big fat shape. Terrific so far. I also don't want this stuff in here. So I'm going to grab that shape and go whoop, and whoops, I don't want that. I want that connected and that connected to that. So now I've got a big S with that big tail on it, and I've got my schmutz all together. This Z is floating a little bit. I want to pull that in. So this just worth looking at your stuff and going, I don't like where that is. I want to kind of control exactly my spacing. So when this thing cuts out, it's perfect. So that's what your file should look like in order for you to send this to the vinyl cutter and have it work. Hope that helps. I look forward to seeing what awesome stuff you come up with. See you.